Chapter 24-28, The Torrent of Fate 1. Hearing the first Dark Moon Priestess's words only strengthened Zhang Yi's resolve. I care not what cosmic laws or fateful arrangements exist. I know only this: if anyone dares harm me, my family, or anything I hold dear, I will fight back to the bitter end. He fixed his gaze on the first Dark Moon Priestess, a faint smile playing at the corners of his mouth. Just as you defied Samuel. The gloom weighing on the hearts of Saladin, King Arthur, and the others lifted considerably at Zhang Yi's words. Yes, fate demanded they bow their heads and walk obediently toward their doom. But why couldn't they defy fate? If they grew powerful enough, neither the Day of Fall nor the Creator could destroy them. The first Dark Moon Priestess watched Zhang Yi silently, a faint smile curving her lips. You are indeed intriguing. Perhaps your existence might bring unexpected changes. We shall continue observing to see what path you ultimately choose. Zhang Yi said nothing more. He understood that this cosmic gambit was no longer merely a contest of strength, but a clash of spirit and will. And he was destined to write his own chapter in this endless game. Zhang Yi, King Arthur, Saladin, Morgan, Yan Xinxin, and the others departed the depths of the Dark Moon Empire. They carried abundant resources gifted by the Dark Moon Priestesses, along with newly acquired knowledge, the method of meditating to absorb cosmic energy. They bore knowledge and power from diverse civilizations. As the Dark Moon Priestesses had said, everything in the cosmos was governed by power, and their destinies seemed guided by an irreversible force. As the group embarked on their return journey, traversing the boundless sky, Zhang Yi gazed back at the world that had once sunk into ruin and collapse, his heart filled with complex emotions. The words spoken by the first Dark Moon Priestess remained vivid in his memory, each sentence seeming to challenge the deepest convictions within him. She had declared the fate of the sixth generation humanity was already sealed, that the era of the seventh generation would follow, and that they were merely paving the way for the protagonists of the next age. Her words compelled Zhang Yi to ponder whether such an unalterable destiny truly existed. Yet the atmosphere aboard the ship was not heavy, instead, it carried a sense of ease and anticipation. Though each was lost in thought, the lightheartedness in their exchanges prevented the journey from becoming tedious. Fatty Sue and Brian, two wildly different characters, always managed to inject humor into any serious moment with their playful banter. You guys, imagine if we really ended up being paving stones? That'd be such a raw deal. Fatty Sue chimed in with a chuckle, munching on snacks. Brian rolled his eyes. You're the stepping stone. I'm the Great Iron Wall of humanity's future. The Great Iron Wall? Fatty Sue couldn't help but chuckle. You mean you're going to become a walking fortress? Brian grinned. Exactly. The Great Iron Wall. I'm the kind of guy who scares the crap out of enemies. The group laughed it off. Though the conversation was light-hearted, Zhang Yi's mind was still filled with thoughts. He couldn't shake the words of the first Dark Moon Priestess. After all, the choice of fate and the struggle of the individual seemed an irreconcilable contradiction. But regardless, Zhang Yi asked, his voice carrying a hint of seriousness, have any of you seriously considered what the first Dark Moon Priestess said? Zhang Yi suddenly asked, his voice tinged with seriousness. Once we return to Earth, we might soon face even more brutal struggles. King Arthur fell silent for a moment before speaking. Hearing her words, I do find them terrifying. Is the fate of the universe truly unchangeable, as she claimed? And will be targeted by all the ancient civilizations? Will they eliminate us only to then fight over custody of the seventh generation humans? Saladin shrugged. Honestly, being a babysitter doesn't bother me much. It's just taking care of kids, after all. I believe nothing is that simple. Morgan murmured, his tone steady yet imbued with an unmistakable resolve. Just as we humans cannot fully control our fate, we can still choose our path. Saladin nodded in agreement. True. We may not alter the laws of the universe, but we can change ourselves. At the very least, we can choose whether to submit. Zhang Yi took a deep breath, feeling a thread of resolve strengthen within him. Though the first Dark Moon Priestess's words weighed heavily on him, he knew this, no matter what, he would never bow to fate. Just as Morgan and Saladin had said, humans could choose not to yield, no matter what challenges lay ahead. The Wulwan Empire has been utterly annihilated by me. This was the first time Zhang Yi had revealed this matter to others. Though they had long suspected it, hearing the confirmation directly from Zhang Yi still startled King Arthur and the others. The Wulwan Empire. Truly destroyed by you? Chaos, you bastard. Though astonished, Saladin's face clearly wore a smile. After all, Zhang Yi and they were all comrades within the pupil organization. The stronger Zhang Yi became, the more advantageous it was for their alliance. But now that I think about it, it's not that surprising. Your strength is truly formidable. Zhang Yi slipped his hands into his pockets, strolled to the porthole, and gazed out at the lunar landscape while chatting with the others in a deliberately casual tone. What I mean is, the Wulwan Empire never seemed that formidable to me. They managed to exist in the physical world for hundreds of millions of years. So why can't we, the sixth generation of humanity, achieve the same? He looked at King Arthur, Saladin, and the others. In any case, I intend to live well. Screw whatever creator Kagago, screw whatever ancient civilizations throughout history, screw whatever Drucker Titan. His gaze suddenly sharpened. No one can stop me from living a happy, peaceful life. I agree. Yang Xinshin murmured softly, her eyes glinting with hope. Each of us can choose our own path, even if it means defying fate. After all, living itself is a form of resistance, isn't it? Exactly. Fatty Sue slapped his thigh. If fate really wants us to be paving stones, then we'll be the strongest, most resilient stones. No one can crush us. You two just talk nonsense. Brian scoffed. But then again, what exactly is fate? It sounds like an unstoppable flood, ready to sweep us away. Chapter 24-29, The Torrent of Fate 2. Zhang Yi looked at everyone, a faint smile touching his lips. Though Brian and Fatty Sue's words seemed rather frivolous, it was precisely within this humorous and relaxed atmosphere that he felt a glimmer of ease and hope. Fate? Zhang Yi lowered his head in thought before speaking slowly. Fate may be unavoidable, but we're not without options. As I've always believed, only the strong hold the right to choose. Everything we do is to become stronger. King Arthur nodded. Then we'll strive with all our might to grow stronger. No matter what lies ahead, we'll press on. I'd rather this journey ended sooner, Fatty Sue bellowed again. After all this walking, we deserve a breather. Best to just get this over with so everyone can go home and rest. Brian chuckled. Hey, bro. You sure know how to find excuses to rest. But since you're so eager, let's pick up the pace then. Laughter filled the air as the mood lightened. Zhang Yi watched his companions, a growing sense of strength welling within him. Whatever the future held, they would walk it together, hand in hand, facing whatever challenges lay ahead. Zhang Yi suddenly turned to the group. But once we return, he said, I plan to visit the dragon clan dwelling beneath the Qinling Mountains. I believe my current strength qualifies me to meet them. After conversing with the Dark Moon priestesses, Zhang Yi grasped one crucial truth. To deepen his understanding of this world, he must engage with civilizations more powerful and ancient. For it is in their hands that the true mysteries of this world lie. After all, the lunar people were not a race created by the Creator, thus bearing significant differences from them. Then what of the Qinling Mountain Dragon Clan? That entity which shaped the primordial 8 trigrams and mastered the cosmic code. Zhang Yi believed their might could not possibly fall short of the lunar people. And now, his combat power had reached the Night Tier. Perhaps he was finally qualified to enter the Dragon Clan's domain. Everyone paused in surprise, then King Arthur was the first to nod. You're right. The Dragon Clan's power has always been an unknown factor. With your greatly increased strength, it's time for you to meet them. The existence of the Dragon Clan had once shaken the entire human world. The war when the Wulwan Empire invaded Huashu Kingdom was watched by all of Earth. People even believed for a time that Huashu Kingdom would be utterly destroyed. Yet, before the world's eyes, the white dragon emerged. A single man, wielding a double-edged sword, cutting down the then nearly invincible Xinglu with 2 strokes, then obliterating the entire Wuluan Empire's army with a single breath. Even now, with Zhang Yi's combat power reaching night level, he still found the white dragon's strength utterly formidable. Thus, this expedition to the Dragon Clan was, in his view, absolutely essential. Saladin nodded in agreement. The existence of the Dragon Clan is crucial for humanity. For now, they stand as one of the few ancient civilizations harboring goodwill toward us. Their wisdom and power could offer immense assistance. Numerous ancient civilizations exist, some harboring kindness toward humanity, others holding hostile intent. Most speculated this was tied to whether they were angels of the 6th generation of humankind. Zhang Yi could confirm that the Dragon Clan was precisely the angelic race that had nurtured the growth of the Huashu Kingdom lineage of humanity. Exactly, Zhang Yi affirmed with unwavering resolve. No matter what fate holds, I will keep moving forward. Having come this far, I must press on. Fatty Sue suddenly piped up, wonder if there are any beautiful dragon ladies among the Dragon Clan. If you get picked, boss, and become a dragon-riding son-in-law, our lives would finally have some hope. Dragon riding? What kind of posture is that? Zhang Yi let his eyelids droop. The issue of reproductive isolation isn't that easy to solve. Fatty Sue's eyes lit up. Then that's even better, he chuckled. Zhang Yi couldn't take it anymore. He punched him straight in the face, sending him flying to the side. You go study silicone with Brian. Laughter echoed through the ship once more, the atmosphere lightening considerably. And Zhang Yi finally decided his path. Upon returning to Earth, the Dragon Clan dwelling beneath the Qinling Mountains would become the key to his further exploration of power. No matter what challenges lay ahead, he would never bow his head. He had resolved to walk his own path, protect himself and those around him, and never let fate dictate everything. The Dreamer spacecraft landed on the lunar surface. King Arthur and the others looked at Zhang Yi in confusion. Why did we stop? Are you waiting for someone? Zhang Yi glanced at them and said, I promised the people of the Brilliant Moon Empire that I would meet the ancient beings of their legends. Due to the turmoil in the abyss of eternal darkness, Zhang Yi had chosen to depart with the others before the fire seed ceremony concluded. Yet upon his arrival at the moon, the people of the Brilliant Moon Empire had already contacted him. They said those timeless beings wished to meet him. Perhaps what they truly sought to see was Ling's earthly form, the physical vessel left behind in the moral realm. Coincidentally, Zhang Yi also had questions he wished to pose to the ancient and powerful Yihan tribe. King Arthur's eyes flashed with excitement. Let's go together. He too harbored countless questions he wished to pose. A playful curve lifted the corners of Zhang Yi's mouth as he drawled lazily, but they specifically requested to see only me, you know. You lot are better off staying put here. They were familiar with each other, but not that familiar. Information was precious, and he intended to keep it all to himself. Morgan and the others saw through Zhang Yi's plan and approached with smiles. Don't be so stingy. We can pay you, name your price. It's not about the price. Zhang Yi rolled his eyes. Those are beings who could end our lives with a single breath. Since they specifically requested to see only me, naturally I can't bring anyone else. Seeing Morgan still trying to argue, Zhang Yi waved him off decisively. Enough, stop fussing. I'll be back soon. With that, Zhang Yi shooed them off the Dreamer. Yang Xinqin and Brian entered Zhang Yi's shadow, and he stored the Dreamer within his dimensional space. King Arthur and Saladin had grown accustomed to Zhang Yi's methods. Even after fighting side by side for so long, he still didn't trust others. Morgan felt a twinge of resentment. Pointing at Brian, who was heading toward Zhang Yi's dimensional space, he protested, We can't go with him, but that dog can. Hey, hey, hey! Surely humans aren't inferior to dogs? Zhang Yi shot him a glance and asked casually, He dares to eat shit. Do you dare to eat it? Chapter 2430, The Torrent of Fate 3. Zhang Yi's single question completely stumped Morgan. He hesitated for a long while, unable to breach his own moral boundaries. After all, Morgan was now Colombia's #1 tycoon, a man of considerable standing. If he actually ate it, those scheming bastards like Jean-Yi would surely record him. Wouldn't he become a laughingstock across the entire world? But refusing it meant missing the chance to converse with an ancient being from the brilliant Moon Empire. Amidst his indecision, Brian had already strutted into the shadow space with smug satisfaction. Jean-Yi left them behind and strode off, heading straight for the entrance to the brilliant Moon Empire's underground world. Long after they had departed, Morgan suddenly slapped his thigh. Why did he just leave? I actually wanted to challenge myself too. King Arthur sighed deeply, walking over to pat his shoulder. You'd better forget it. Even if you did eat it, he wouldn't take you with him. The group grumbled about Jean-Yi's ruthlessness, but they had no choice but to wait here for his return. Though they had their own ship, Jean-Yi might return with more useful intelligence. Thus, none dared to leave. As Jean-Yi headed toward the brilliant Moon Empire, Brian whispered to him, bro, I actually eat pretty healthy. Don't get the wrong idea about me. Jean-Yi replied indifferently, whatever you say. Brian didn't respond. Arriving at the brilliant Moon Empire, it remained that beautiful realm bathed in light amidst the underground world. The Earth Star people were their heroes, having helped them recover the Fire Seed, so they received an exceptionally grand welcome. Xiu Liunian personally came to guide Jean-Yi. Have you handled matters with the Dark Moon Empire? Xiu Liunian asked curiously. Jean-Yi nodded. Indeed. Just as anticipated, there was a mole among their people. He glanced at Xiu Liunian with interest. Does your brilliant Moon clan not have such individuals? Xiu Liunian pointed to her own head. Her features were exquisitely beautiful, almost inhuman, more like a doll crafted from silver and porcelain. The foundational code of our brilliant Moon clan differs from that of the Dark Moon clan. The two traversed a vast silver corridor, ahead of which lay an impossibly long staircase descending into the underworld, seemingly endless. The Dark Moon clan's subconscious carries the madness left by Samuel, along with the intent to aid him in breaking the seal. Thus, the Seal Breaker faction has always existed and will be difficult to eradicate. But our brilliant Moon clan's very essence is rooted in existence, and protection. Resisting Samuel is the deepest core code of our spiritual will. As she spoke these words, she proudly lifted her chest. This might also explain why the brilliant Moon Empire had always looked down upon the Dark Moon Empire. Jean-Yi shrugged and walked shoulder to shoulder with her. Xiu Liunian's pace quickened, yet Jean-Yi kept up effortlessly with his space shuffle ability, never falling behind. This fact alone caused a flicker of surprise to appear in Xiu Liunian's eyes. After an unknown duration of travel, the two finally reached the end of the staircase corridor. Beneath the heart of the brilliant Moon Empire, guided by Xiu Liunian, Jean-Yi slowly stepped into that secret realm unseen by mortal eyes. Lifting his head, the moment he beheld this entirely new world, the sight before him made him hold his breath. This was an otherworldly underground realm, more vast than the heavens and deeper than the oceans. Endless silver crystals formed the very fabric of heaven and earth, their crystalline brilliance surging from every direction, refracting into countless wondrous iridescent hues. Each crystal seemed to crystallize the very essence of moonlight, radiating an aura of sanctity and eternity. The entire space resembled a flawless gem embedded deep within the cosmos, a breathtaking beauty that shook the soul. The vaulted ceiling hung high, with millions of crystals cascading down like a celestial glass waterfall, their light scattering to form a dreamlike starry river. The floor was forged from layered silver-white crystals. Each step echoed with a distant resonance, as if treading upon the strings of history. The air was clear yet weighty, carrying a faint, cool fragrance, the silent breath of power distilled over eons. At the heart of this silver-lit sanctuary stood 12 majestic thrones. Each throne was carved from a single colossal silver crystal, its natural patterns flowing like frozen moonlight. Towering like mountains, they stood majestic and dignified, encircling the space in a circle, as if forming an eternal council, silently guarding this peerless space. Upon these thrones, Jean-Yi beheld 12 figures seated in majesty. Each wore exquisitely crafted silver armor, its surface embossed with patterns of stars and moonlight, symbols of cosmic law. Every inch of the armor shimmered with radiance, as if not of mortal origin but forged from the primordial substance of the cosmos itself. Their stature was towering, standing approximately 5 meters tall, the standard form of the Ehen tribe. Seated, they commanded a mountain-like presence, yet retained an air of grace and sanctity. Though each of the 12 goddesses possessed a distinct countenance, all were equally captivatingly beautiful. Their eyes were profoundly deep, shimmering with a starlit radiance that seemed to pierce through all mundane illusions. Their aura was ancient and weighty, bearing the weariness of countless millennia, yet retaining a serenity and dignity transcending the mortal world. These giantesses were none other than the deities of the Ehen tribe, who had journeyed here billions of years ago from the distant path of ascension. They had crossed the starry seas, descending upon the origin of the brilliant Moon Empire, leaving an indelible mark upon this land. Now, they still guarded this place, standing like 12 eternal silver monuments. The entire underground realm appeared exceptionally sacred under their watchful gaze. The crystalline glow intertwined with their aura, forming an invisible domain that felt like a sacred realm transcending the laws of the universe. Zhang Yi lifted his head, gazing at the 12 majestic figures seated before him, his heart surging with an unprecedented awe. Everything here was beautiful and grand, already beyond what human language could describe. He knew he stood before beings who truly transcended eras and defied the mundane. Guided by Xiuliangyan, Zhang Yi slowly approached the 12 silver thrones. Upon seeing these 12 silver thrones, Xiuliangyan's eyes brimmed with passion and respect. For these were the creators of their brilliant Moon Clan. Even in her 600 years of existence, Xiuliangyan had only encountered them 3 times, including this occasion. She stepped forward and respectfully knelt on one knee. Xiuliangyan greets the 12 ancestors. I have brought Zhang Yi, the Earth Star human who inherited the collective unconscious legacy of the Ehen tribe of Tianyu Palace, as per your will.